Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about having a Scorpio Sun and Sagittarius Mercury in your natal chart. Now, I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. What I'm talking about is having that Sun Mercury combination in your chart, having the Scorpio Sun and Sagittarius Mercury in your chart. First off, well, the basic character, which is the Sun. In this case, the Sun being in Scorpio can be very resourceful, resilient, willful, intense, empowering, and probing. Now, on the communication side of things, which is Mercury being in Sagittarius, can be philosophical, blunt, optimistic, exuberant, voracious, and jocular. And the Scorpio Sun, the Sun in astrology is connected with our basic ones. And the Scorpio Sun wants to transform, they want power, control, and go beyond the surface. The Sagittarius Mercury may often talk about expanding horizons, religion, their philosophies, sports, advertising. As some examples, sports and advertising separate. The subject sports and the subject advertising. Um, Now, the true self, which is the Sun, in this case, the Sun being in Scorpio, can be incisive, passionate, relentless, and sometimes can even be fanatical in some instances. The thinking, which is Mercury. Mercury being in Sagittarius can be very positive, even visionary and enthusiastic. Now, the combination, as far as how this energy may integrate, the person may be overly obsessive, which is Scorpio, and it can be, in their thoughts, which is Mercury, regarding their philosophies and beliefs, which is Sagittarius. Now, this is a person that can be, you know, um, very. You're talking about, the Scorpio energy. Um, you know, Sometimes can be vengeful, but it can be, Scorpio. Sun in Scorpio can be very caustic. And then you have, the Sagittarius Mercury speaking with a lot of veracity and those harsh arrows of truth. Now, you have also too, if the Sun, and well, in this case, of course, when you have Scorpio Sun and Sagittarius Moon, the Sun will be positive before Mercury. And having the Sun positioned before Mercury, the person may often act, which is the Sun, before thinking, which is Sagittarius. So um, the thing is, this may shine the light, so to speak, which is the Sun, on communication, which is Mercury ability, if this is a conjunction aspect. Now, um, if the Scorpio Sun is an example, well, conjunction aspect in astrology is 0 degrees, and I use a 10-degree orb if at least one personal planet is involved. Now, in this case, you have two personal planets, of course, that are involved, the Sun and Mercury. For example, if the Scorpio Sun is at 28 degrees and the Sagittarius Mercury is at 2 degrees, that would form a conjunction aspect. Now, some astrologers and astrology enthusiasts don't believe in out of sign aspects. So I believe they are valid, and I believe I can illustrate through this example to how they are. Now, in this example, okay, with the Scorpio Sun at 28 degrees and Sagittarius Mercury at 2 degrees, okay, that's it's a 4-degree disparity between the Sun and Mercury. Now, the thing is, even though they're in different signs, they are in close proximity to each other, and there's still friction that exists between the Sun and Mercury. So I see this as a valid aspect, and I apply this as well to the other major aspects, the sextile, the trine, the square, and the opposition. I even include the inconjunct aspect in it. Now, you have, some people, believe the inconjunct aspect is minor. I see it as a major aspect. And also, too, going back to the conjunction aspect, you can, the memory may be very retentive when you have the Sun making a conjunction um, to Mercury, and if the person, say, is in higher learning, they're in college, it might be somebody that retains a lot of that information from their higher education, because that is associated with Sagittarius, and we're talking about Sagittarius Mercury. Now, another thing, it could also give mathematical, prowess and ability if you have the Sun conjunct Mercury. And again, going back to the fact that Sagittarius Mercury, it could be learning on an advanced level, such as in college and higher education. Um, Now, the Sun in astrology is associated with the biological father and children. So, having a Scorpio Sun, the person's biological father and at least one child may actually be a Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or embody those characteristics. Now, Mercury is associated with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So, having a Sagittarius Mercury, the person may have a number of siblings, cousins, and neighbors that may actually be, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or embody those traits. Now, it's also about the perception of these people having a Scorpio Sun. The person, may perceive the biological father and at least one child, if applicable, as people that are very, empowering, probing, incisive, um, very resourceful, resilient, tenacious, and at the same time, they may perceive those people as people that are overly controlling, manipulative, jealous, vengeful, vindictive, um, and obsessive. Now, with the Sagittarius Mercury, the person may, perceive, some of their siblings, cousins, and neighbors as people that are very, voracious, exuberant, optimistic, enthusiastic, sports-minded, and philosophical, but at the same time may perceive those people as being overly blunt, tactless, foolhardy, reckless, over-optimistic, as some examples. The thing about this combination is it can be, caustic, because in very, person may need, to, really think before speaking, especially the fact that the Sun is positive before Mercury, and then you have Mercury being in a tactless Sagittarius. Sagittarius Mercury is going to speak, their veritable truth, and you have the Scorpio Sun. The Sun in astrology is connected with the basic fundamental character. And having a Scorpio Sun, naturally, the fundamental character can be very caustic and sardonic and sarcastic. And you have the Sagittarius Mercury, which can be blunt and sometimes, to the point of demoralizing others. And the person may not always think, before speaking. And the thing isn't, because there could be repercussions, later on, depending on, what is said and who you're saying this to. So it's something to be wary of. And but this is a person that, naturally, your Scorpio Sun, basic character is very action oriented. Sagittarius Mercury is always, their mind, you want to be that perpetual learner. And going back to, the caustic and the blunt and tactless energy of this combination, of course, you got to look at, contraindicators and modifying influences in the chart. If somebody, say, has a Libra ascendant, or say they have Venus conjunct the ascendant, the person may come across as more tactful, diplomatic, more so than the typical Scorpio Sun Sagittarius Mercury combination. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.